Fear not, children. Your salvation is here. Godfrey Salazar, your new king, your new god. Bow before me, and all your dreams will come true.
10:30 last night.
You had a drive, is all I can say.
It sucked.
It was a drive. You know what? When we were talking yesterday, Drubaka, I should have just been like, hey, let's just push it back, because I kind of had a feeling, you know, with it, when it's a 10-hour drive, assuming no issues whatsoever, like there's no way. But with that being said, hi everybody, and welcome to session 9 of Trials of Solaria Broken Oaths, entitled Green is the Color of My Death. And if you know what I'm referencing when I say that, I will send you a chocolate chip cookie that I'll bake myself. There it is. But I bet you no one's going to get that reference. And if you look it up on the internet, I'll know. You have to get it from your heart to know it deep down in the core of your soul. But with that being said, enough out of me. Let's let these lovely players introduce themselves, and then let's dive into session 9 of this weird game that's gone, I don't even know. We're in a weird spot right now, but we're going to figure it out. So let's start with Brian, Azrael, and we'll take it from there.
Hello, I am Brian. I am at MindOverBrian on both Twitter and on Twitch, although on Twitch I spell it with a 0. And I am playing Vinwivar Halbrand, our SMR, who looks like a human sorcerer. Sorry, I forgot what class I was for a second.
Hi there, I'm Blower Joe. I'm playing Eckhard Gerst, the Abadarian War Priest.
Hi, I'm Axel. I play Mikhael, who is the Kitsune entrepreneur, totally innocent fox person doing fox person stuff.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Drew. I'm playing Bix, the gnome hunter, and his faithful animal companion, Polly, who is now a medium-sized creature that I can ride.
Terrified.
He's just so excited about that.
I'm just gonna be scared of that.
That's tiny little, I don't have to worry about my reduced tiny little gnome speed.
I mean, I was never worried about it personally, but I mean,
yeah, because you suck.
You're pretty scary. Why is everyone always so mean to me? That's all I'm saying. Like, there's so much meanness. Like,
you started it.
I did not start anything, but I'm Darewolf. I'm the game master. I'm better than all these other fucks. So there it is. And it's been over 3 minutes, so I can swear. So who cares? No, I love you guys. When we last left off, though, our intrepid adventurers, some stuff happened. Quite a lot of stuff. There was an attempted breakout, a betrayal. There was an interrogation. Just a lot of stuff happened, and
that was the last half hour.
And that was the last half hour. So it was dense, yeah. Dare I say. There was a little bit of text RP that took place between Mikhael and Venwar, and I want to just open the floor to the two of you to kind of fill us in on what transpired, and if there's anything else that you guys wanted to add to that as well.
Brian, do you wanna describe what happened? It was in your text RP channel, so technically.
Yeah, but you asked me if I wanted it anyway.
I don't think that's how the rules go. I'm sorry.
As you may or may not recall, at the end of last session, Ven had just had a flashback to an unfortunate time, and was left to his own devices. Or so he believed, as it turned out Mikhael stayed behind and offered him some comfort.
Excellent.
And it went well for both of them? I don't know. It's like, how detailed do you want the synopsis?
I mean, it's up to you, man. It's up to you. I don't need that much detail. But there was a conversation. And I'd like to give you all a moment because, you know, as our session intro dictated, we're going to kind of flash forward about a day. The Mint's been locked down. The acolytes that were wounded have been healed. The acolytes that were slain were put into a chamber, and actually Gentle Repose was cast because the goal is to hopefully eventually bring them back. But with that being said, I want to give you all just a moment because, you know, at the end of last section, Bix had handed the Book of Shadows over to Odafi. No one saw this happen. No one knows that she has the book, and I'm curious, how would everyone have reacted right after the events of this attack on the Mint?
First of all, I do need to restart.
Okay.
And second of all, Eckhard would probably be, again, assisting the reorganization and handling the acolytes who've been injured and such. So
Okay.
probably one of the last to respond. So I will be right back.
No worries, man. And with that being said, our cameras are all going to get a little wonky right now, which is totally fine. In fact, I can fix this. Don't even worry about it. We're super professional over here. But let's hear from Ven. What would Ven have done at the end of?
Ven's in custody, I hear.
It's fair.
So not much.
Okay. What about the super not anything more than a fox person?
Yeah, Mikhael would go around like getting like accounts from people, you know, learning the events that happened while they were gone, making sure everyone, whether dead, alive, or wounded, is accounted for in the Mint. Trying to find some people somewhat responsible that they can shift some blame over instead of Ven. And generally, you know, going around trying to be helpful.
So, Mikhael, I would like to have you be down in the Mint area, down in the kind of vaults. And maybe you've done some sniffing around, some poking around, no pun intended. You are a fox person. But as you were poking around, and this was just after the conversation you had with Ven, several acolytes came downstairs, took him back into quote-unquote custody, and you've had a chance in just a moment, you know, all of the acolytes grabbed him, they took him back upstairs, and perhaps even strangely, they would have not bothered to lock up this, you know, this vault area here. It gives you a moment, and if you recall, this shadowy masked figure had vanished kind of in this cloud of smoke, disappearing in front of you, you know, as cowards often do. And I'd like to give you just a moment to make a perception check or do any sort of other investigation that you'd like.
Sure, yeah. I mean, let's go over and see if they did anything else other than try to take the book while they were here. Right? So perception, sure. Sniffing around. Looking at, no, that was very bad.
So with the 10, you get this sniff, and it's a very kind of pungent, not necessarily rotten, but like if you've left, you know, like fruit on your counter for too long, and it kind of gets that weird kind of just off smell, and you also hear what sounds like buzzing for a moment, like you hear flies, but you look around and you see nothing. You don't see any flies, but you hear this kind of faint buzzing noise for a moment, and that sour kind of smell is coming from right where this shadowy masked man had vanished before you.
This is a different scent from the one I know him to have.
Correct.
Interesting. I'll take note, and assuming I can't find anything else, I'll just probably mention this later to everyone else.
Perfect. And what about Bix? Bix, after you hand this Book of Shadows off to Odafi, what would Bix have done at the end of last?
Just remind me exactly what was her response. Like she.
So you didn't hear her response. You had
right.
left the room.
Oh, that's right. I gave it to her and then immediately ran away.
She took it, her manacled hands still, but she took it and drew it close to her chest. almost cradling it like it was a best friend or something like that. And yeah, that's what she did, like a weirdo.
All right, I would have run back upstairs, I guess, to try and find the rest of the party, or outside the room to find the rest of the party.
Okay, excellent. So I'd like to give you all a moment as you all reconvene in the middle of the main entrance of the Mint. The High Priestess, the Mint Mother, as it were, is giving orders, commanding everyone to go around to, repair and fix and heal people. Sarah is picked up and brought over to the healing area where she's, given some rest and some medicine and some healing. And you all have a moment where even Ven is with you. He is once again shackled, but is off to the side there. The High Priestess has left the room, and it's really just a moment where it is only the 5 of you, including Polly, in this main entrance. You can still see the little splots of blood from some of the acolytes that were wounded, and I'd just like to give you all a moment to, I guess, interact.
Where is the book?
I may have given it to Odafi.
What?
You have given it willingly?
I told her that she better not fuck us over, or I will come back from the afterlife and murder her. Look, she was very compelling, okay? Just
magically compelling?
No, not magically compelling.
Oh,
like,
did you also
personality-wise
compelling?
From the room, the door's still open, this kind of meeting room with a large desk where the interrogation had taken place. You hear Odafi, and it sounds like she's reciting something. And she recites the following line. She says, "Green is the color of my death as the winter guies. I swoop towards the ground." And there's a soft kind of glow from inside that room, a kind of dark bluish black glow from the corner where she is sitting.
I mean, she said she was going to destroy it. She promised me. And Ven told me, Ven has promised that we can trust her. I felt like I could trust her.
And was betrayed. Why would the rest of us think to do the same after that? I appreciate the train of thought. However, this is not your decision alone to make. The book does not belong to you. It was purchased by the state. And Mr. Eckhard, please help me out here. Surely you must see the logic better than...
Look, we're fighting off
issues.
We're fighting off an attack to get this book. She said she could destroy it, and that's the best way to deal with it, I think.
I had the book. Trust her.
I had the book. I trusted her. If you want to go back in there and take it from her, fucking do it.
Very well, maybe I will. If no one will stop me, I will start angry small steps towards the door.
Go ahead.
As you get to the door, your nose, this long snout of your fox face, it hits what feels like you're hitting almost like a thick jelly. Or if you've ever like put your hand into like sandy water where it sloshes but it moves, like it's thick muddy water. You hit it and your nose goes in, and that smell, that faint kind of off-putting smell is just abundant. And as you look to the right, you see Odafie with this book open, and you see this like bluish, dark black kind of light emanating out from the book. And she continues, she recites again the same phrase. Again, green is the color of my death. As the winter guise, I swoop towards the ground. The table shakes. The whole table just kind of like a whoop, like it lifts up and then hits the ground with a clang.
I will try to step into the room.
Give me.
Eckhard's right behind him.
Give me a fortitude save.
My best save. No, it's not.
You manage to press your way into the room, and as soon as you do, what if he snaps the book shut and sets it on the table in front of her? The smell, that thick kind of like moving through like thick muddy water, that sensation washes over you, then dissipates. And she sets it on the table in front of her, brings her hands down to her lap, and simply looks to you, saying nothing.
I am sorry to interrupt. I imagine you were in the middle of something important.
I was simply beginning my translation of the texts. Bix had agreed to give me the book, and I had agreed to find a way to destroy it. Well, that is to say, I know of a potential ritual that could destroy the book and keep it from my father.
Well, I'm sorry for the miscommunication between everyone. It was due to the whole chaos. I'm sure you understand, but the book is not ours to give as of right now. And so I'm afraid we must ask for the directions from our queen before we proceed with such a ritual.
Eckhard, you've made your way into the room as well.
Yes.
Do you have anything to add?
I look over to Eckhard like, yeah, surely back me up here.
Sorry, I'm wrestling with trying to get Roll20 to actually load.
Okay. Have you tried what browser are you using?
I've tried both Edge and Chrome so far. I've disabled all my extensions. I've cleared my cache.
Weird.
I've restarted my computer.
Interesting.
It's all hanging on the loading screen.
You don't have like the enhancement suite or anything running, anything like that?
No.
Try running it in incognito mode in Chrome.
I did that as well.
Oh, damn. Then I don't know. That's weird. You know what?
Weird.
I could...
I'm going to try and leave the game if you can give me their invite link.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's
Actually, one second. Let me try to join a different game first.
Okay.
Because I haven't tried that yet.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. Technical difficulties.
Figure it out. That's what I say.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll make it work.
Roll20.
So Bix and Ven, you're sitting in the entryway together, and is it silence? Are you talking about anything with one another?
Are you still manacled?
I manacled again, in fact.
So I guess looks like I'm in trouble now.
Yeah, they turn on a dime here, don't they? It's like 1 minute you're the golden boy, next minute you've betrayed everything everybody stands for, you know.
Well, Polly and I'll make do. Anyways,
at least nobody hit you in the head. Like, you got that on me.
Well, you were kind of being crazy. Yeah, this shit's getting weird, man.
I'm trying to restart my network. Looks like it's a DNS issue.
Okay. Hopping off again for a second? Yes, he is. Because he
looks
froze.
like it.
Perfect. All right. What a time to be alive. But I'm gonna let you continue, please. I don't mean to cut you guys.
I mean, the
off.
manacles aren't a big deal. I recently learned how to do this, and Ven will gesture, and then a mage hand will appear.
Oh, one of those. Look, I'm going to do my best to keep us all together. I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not, but we seem to be a pretty good team. And, well, I don't know. I like you guys.
Oh, Bix, I like you too. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I like Polly a little bit more. He's just a little cuter than you are.
Yeah, everybody likes Polly.
Oh, in fact, actually, and the mage hand will go into his bag and pull out a sausage, and then truck it over and put it down in front of Polly.
Polly.
I still owe you for tanking that hag, buddy.
He is very happy with his with his sausage. All
So,
right.
Bix, what are you
watch
in
this
this for?
for hours. I don't know about anyone else.
What am I in this for?
Yeah. I mean, I get what the fox guy wants. He clearly wants power. And I get what the priest is here for. He clearly is a priest. So, he does priest things. You, I don't get.
Well, it's hard to explain. I guess I'm here for Solaria. This is, I grew up in the wilds around here back before there was a kingdom, and it was not the best place. There were bandits, and there were Fey incursions, and just it was home, but it was wild. And then King Frederick came, and the council created the kingdom, and I don't know, things started getting better, and I finally felt like I didn't have to just stay out in the wild with Polly. I could actually come and make friends. And he looks over at him.
Well, sounds like your experience of Solaria has been a little different than mine.
Well, your experience with Solaria was initially as an enemy of the kingdom, and
oh no, I grew up in Sunspire. Well, I mean, around Sunspire.
Oh, did you? How did you get recruited by the Dickless one?
It's kind of a long story. You sure you want to get into that?
I mean, we're stuck in an elevator here. I mean,
well, a few years ago, I want to say, like 4 or 5 years ago, do you remember back when Sunspire had that problem with tattoo magic?
Yeah, I heard about it. I wasn't there, but we heard about it over here.
Yeah, there was that weird tattoo magic thing. Well, my parents ran a shop, and my dad went and got a tattoo because the guy told him that it would help him make more money, and my parents were struggling, I guess. Anyway, so he got a tattoo, and then he died. He kind of burned up while in the stockroom at my parents' shop.
Oh no.
And then he set the building on fire, and then pretty much everything we owned burned up in that fire. So then it was just my mom and me. And then I want to maybe just a couple months after that, I started developing these fire powers that you see, and I didn't exactly have great control when it first started.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom told me to pretend I didn't have them. She told me I should be ashamed of them. The attitude towards magic wasn't real great in Sunspire for a bit, especially after a bunch of people died. So we kind of lived on the streets, and my mom eventually found us a place to live, but I think maybe she blamed me for my dad's death because I was fire and he died in a fire, and she says she doesn't, but when I got old enough, she suddenly started talking about this new god and how he had promised that humanity would rise above the others and they would finally take their rightful place in the world. And it all sounded like a bunch of bullshit. But then she told me that they accepted magic. They wanted magic users and that she had told them about me and they were excited. And it kind of was like having my mom back. So I went to the place, did the magic camp. And you know what? They were excited about my magic in a way that no one had ever been excited about the things I could do before. Not even my mom. And so I kind of got roped into it that way. And then they started telling me about how, with these powers I could be a real force for change in the world, and maybe people wouldn't be in the position I was in. Maybe everybody could be equals. Maybe the council was keeping people down on purpose. When you're 19 years old, you kind of believe what the grown-ups tell you. And it wasn't until I was standing in the middle of a burning Sunspire, lighting a group of farmers on fire, that I realized that this isn't the person I want to be.
Yeah. Humanity first sounds kind of shitty to me. Should be everybody first.
I hear you.
And as you say, I hear you, you notice, Bix and Ven, that the High Priestess has been standing in the doorway that led to where Sarah was taken. And you're not sure how long she's been there for, but it looks like she's been listening in, and she has she always has kind of like a little bit of a mischievous smile on her face. You get the impression she acts more old and crotchety than she is. And she's been watching, and she's smiling at you, Ven. And she doesn't say anything, but she walks over to you, and with this grace and elegance that you would not expect from someone that looks like they're 90, she leans down and looks you square in the eyes. There is this, like, boring a hole into your very soul. She just looks at you. And she says, "Oh, who put these back on you? Unacceptable." Taps the manacles and they click, click off. "Now you're going to be a good boy, aren't you, if I take these off? Well, looks like I have."
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. And she stands up and looks over at Bix, looks over at Ven again, and says, "Don't let me interrupt your filibustering, as it were." And then skitters off, walks away to go help some of the other folks.
Bix looks over at Ven. I really like her.
She's really overcoming my natural leeriness of religious figures, I'll tell you.
Yeah, seriously.
Then you notice there is a little pamphlet in your lap that says, "Learn about the Church of Abaddon." I'm kidding. No.
That'd be terrible.
All about the Church of Abaddon.
But
do you like shiny things? We have a religion for you.
we have a religion for you.
Very worried about an Abadarian priest being good at sleight of hand, honestly.
Maybe it is what it is. No big deal. But I'd like to continue. If you guys want to continue, if you have anything else to say, please continue. Don't let me cut you off.
Yeah, I hear you, because I'll tell you, the first person to take me in after I fled the apostles was this dwarven caravan leader, and he didn't care that I didn't know almost anything about horses. I kind of think he recognized that I was willing to do just about anything, and he let me ride along with them as a horse groom. Taught me how to actually know what I was doing with horses. And then when we got attacked by bandits, that was the first time I ever used my magic to protect somebody. And he didn't report me. He didn't tell anybody. Because the first few times I used magic, I have a lantern tattoo on my chest. Everybody had to get them, and it used to glow. and that they told us that it was because our magic was coming from Godfrey, and that the magic would glow. But we also had to get regular touch-ups from the priests, and I'm starting to think that maybe they were just putting some sort of magic sensitive ink in or something, because this thing hasn't glowed for a while, although something happened downstairs that made it burn like a son of a.
When was that? While you were what, disguised?
No, well, after you unmanacled me, I ran down the stairs behind Mikhael, and there was a cloaked, shadowy dude. That same cloaked, shadowy dude we saw earlier.
Oh, that asshole.
Yeah. And I went into fire burning hands him. Sorry. And as I got close, while I was up here, actually, I could feel the burning in my tattoo. As I got close to him, something happened, and suddenly I was standing in the square in the lower part of Sunspire, looking at these farmers who just wanted to get out of the city and watching their faces melt. It was bad. Really bad.
Sounds to me like you had a rough upbringing. You were lost and didn't know what you were looking for in life. You found a cause that you thought would let you help people. You got in over your head, and when you discovered what they really were, you left. And that's a really brave thing to do, Ven. And I respect you for it. I think unless you're lying to me, which I don't think you are, I think you've confirmed my faith in you, and I'm proud to call you a friend. And he holds a hand out for a handshake.
Polly,
Thanks,
who is
buddy.
now almost the size of Ven as well, puts both of his paws on Ven's knees, like his one knee, and looks at him and is like,
Ven will shake Vix's hand while scritching with his left hand.
I love it. I love it.
All right, well, I guess you want to go see what's going on in there?
Yeah, I hope Odafie has figured her life out by now.
And
Really hope she didn't do something shitty with that book.
the whole room bursts into blood and gore. No, it's terrible. Blau, are we good? Is it working for you?
No, I guess I'm going to be roll 20-less, so I'll watch the stream for the map.
That's so weird. It's just not.
Yeah.
It won't load up. Are other games loading or nothing?
No, the roll 20 is just kaput for me right now.
That's so weird. That is odd. I don't know if it's anything on my end I can do.
Try and launch a game you didn't GM. Let's see if that happens. I mean, it doesn't make a difference, so.
No. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Well, then we'll just kind of roll with it.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I'm trying to think if there's anything I can do.
The only thing I can think of is maybe using a VPN in case that helps if you have one.
I don't have a VPN.
Oh. Yeah, I've never heard of anybody not being able to just log in. That's strange. Yeah, well, hopefully we can figure it out. But with that being said, we enter into the scene with you and everyone inside. Even the high priestess is in this room, and it's kind of a mirrored image of everything that took place last session, except this time Ven is on the opposite side, no longer chained. And I'd like to just, open it to all of you to, again, have whatever conversation you want to have.
Ven was unchained.
Ven is unchained now. Yep.
Okay.
The high priestess unchained him.
Fair enough.
Did Eckhard have anything to say regarding the book and Odafie using it?
No.
Like before you left, if you...
he probably wouldn't want Odafi to use it. Her in particular, given that she's demonstrated her willingness to lie and betray and steal.
Right, just checking. So we have taken the book away from Odafi. It's like in the middle of the table.
Like in the middle of the table. That is correct.
Okay, good. Great. So I will look to the High Priestess and ask, hey, is the Queen by any chance arrived yet?
No, she's due back at some point, but I am unsure of when she is due to return. At this point, we must deal with the situation ourselves. And you can see once again that ring she wears. She's like playing with it, Mikhael, and she gives you kind of a side eye. And you just, I don't know, she just gives you a little bit of a side eye. You can do with that as you see fit.
Well, until she's ready to make a decision on the matter, I believe we should keep the book safe ourselves, considering the vault doesn't seem so safe anymore, and make sure it is not used for any purpose that we do not know about.
Odafi pipes up. I will again make my offer that I do believe I have a means to destroy it, and keeping the book around cannot protect it from my father. The only way to keep it from him is to destroy it.
And what does that mean, and why wasn't it raised at our last meeting?
She kind of recoils a little bit and looks directly at Eckhard. I didn't think you would listen to me in the moment, so I did not bring it up.
We have already admitted that there exists a different ritual with which one can absorb the book's power, and that is the one your father is planning to use.
So I would like to give Ven and anyone in the room, not Ven, but Eckhard and anyone else in the room, a sense motive check on Odafi in this moment. And you got a 16, Eckhard.
Okay.
And Eckhard, from that check, there's definitely something she's holding back. It's like your question was right on the nose. Why wasn't this brought up? Why are you bringing this up now? And it just, something doesn't feel right. You know, why is this being brought up in this moment? It's all too convenient is the way I would best describe it.
I think that even if possible to destroy the book in that manner, we should be very careful as to who we give that power to.
I agree. Personally, I do not think we have any reason to trust you to do what you say. And therefore, it would not be wise to give you the book.
What can I do to earn your trust again?
That is a difficult question. It used to be sitting in your very comfortable room and not causing any trouble for at least a few days. That did not pan out very well for us. I will have to think of a different method.
If you were caged and an opportunity to escape was presented to you, would you not take it?
Not in that circumstance, certainly.
Then that is somewhere that you and I are different. I have spent most of my life caged. To be caged again was uncomfortable.
Do not put yourself in a circumstance in which you need to be caged, then.
It wasn't necessarily my choice. When you were roved, do you not remember the Queen beating me within an inch of my life?
I remember that. I remember you coming to the city willingly. I remember you stealing that book willingly. I'm not saying the entire situation is your doing, but you have certainly not made your situation better.
I will, as I am planning to have an audience with the Queen regarding your not brother, I am planning on bringing this up and finding a way with which you can prove yourself to be an ally to us, as I would be very happy to have you. But, well, again, we are not at liberty to make such decisions without the Queen being here.
And at the mention of we're not able to make such decisions without the Queen being here, you would hear this voice. It is very annoyed, it's very intense, and you would also hear Dawkins attempting to calm the Queen down, and she says, that mayor, he thinks himself king of the kingdom. He's a... Ugh! And as she walks in, you hear her say, what has happened here? Why is there blood on the ground? High Priestess, what has happened? Elga, where are you? And Elga says, oh, I've been summoned. One moment. And she'll shuffle past everyone and go out into the room. And Eckhard, turning back over your shoulder, you would see the Queen with Dawkins, a couple of harvesters, a little entourage are with them. By the way, Roll20 shows that you're in. Has it loaded up for you?
No, I'm on my phone so I can roll.
Oh, jeez, Pete's. Wow,
Nice.
That's crazy. So it loads on your phone, but doesn't load on your computer. That's the weirdest thing. No big deal. But with that being said, we hear the Queen discussing with Elga. She fills the Queen in on what transpired, the attack. The Queen is surprisingly calm for a few moments, and then says, she escaped. I knew she couldn't be trusted. You should have let me kill her. Dawkins responds with, maybe not, Your Majesty. It's been a long day. Perhaps we should wait for the morning to, determine what to do with her. Is she within custody? Elga says yes, and then the conversation kind of goes around, and then you would all notice that Elga leaves out the part where Ven tried to help her escape. That is perhaps purposefully not included in the explanation of what's transpired. She mentions there was an attack. The mint is now on lockdown. Your Majesty, we may wish to find somewhere else for you to stay that may no longer be safe here. Thank, Abadar, that you weren't here when the attack happened, as they could have gotten to you, etc. But that leaves you all a little bit extra time inside the room with Odafi if you have any additional questions for her or, anything else.
What was the spell that you were casting in here?
I was not casting a spell. I was simply
We could hear you.
I was simply beginning the translation of the book so that I could... Well, I was seeing if the ritual that I intend and still offer to use to destroy it would affect the material. If you open the book to the first page, you'll actually see that it was starting to work.
What was the green light shining?
The book returning to wherever it came from.
There's a real difference between absorb its power and destroy the book. And I notice you're using them interchangeably. It's because there's no truth magic in here, isn't it?
She looks wounded by Ven's words. She finally meets his gaze, and there's just this wounded looking expression on her face. I say what I mean, Ven. I have no loyalty to my father. I've seen the pain he causes under the guise of freedom or the uplifting of humanity. He is a monster. And
I like sense mode of that, please.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I remember last time I sense mode of something similar. She was lying out of her teeth, so.
So what's
Yeah,
interesting
I'm going to do it too.
about that sense mode of Mikhael? She's being truthful. She thinks her father a monster. But there's something more to it. There's something beyond a hatred for her father, this distrust of Godfrey. there's a deep-seated jealousy somewhere deep down inside her core as to what he is, and this kind of vengefulness, she's envious of what he has, and
That's an interesting
she's so ardent about her hatred that you can see through that ardentness to the deeper meaning. She envies him. She envies his freedom. She envies what he has. And maybe...
Here's the thing.
Very interesting word.
Here's the thing, Odafi. I had a realization downstairs while I was reliving the worst moment of my life. I know what hating Godfrey looks like. I know what it means to look at your parents and hate. I'm starting to think you don't hate your father so much as think he's doing it wrong. If you really wanted to escape, if you really wanted to get out of here, you'd have taken the chance I gave you, and you didn't. Not only didn't you take it, but you were content to grab at power and leave me dangling in the wind.
Let us not be rude to the guest, Ben.
That's not rude. That's a statement of fact.
I am aware.
She averts her eyes from Ven and looks over to Bix, almost pleading. You said that you trusted me, and I have not. I have given the book back. I have not betrayed you as you claimed. Please, speak on my behalf. I only wish to help. I only wish to undo the horribleness and at least stop the spread of his influence over this beautiful nation, this beautiful kingdom. I don't know what else I could say. I don't know how else I could prove to you that I...
Is there a way to grant that power that's in that book to somebody that isn't you? Somebody say, like,
you keep
the
saying
Queen?
that I wish to take this power, but I only wish to destroy the book and send it away so that no one can use it. Most importantly, my father.
But that's not what you said when truth magic was happening. I point out again. You said we had two options. We could either send it back, or you could somebody could absorb that power.
Well, that's
as Godfrey intends.
I'm using destroy and send back in the same way. It send it back to where it came from. It would likely be and then she starts to kind of trip on her words and stumble up here a little bit. And stop.
You realize a dawn has passed since I've cast that spell. I can cast it again now. I would suggest you don't lie before I build up too much of a portfolio as to check your lies.
But it's the same day, isn't it?
I thought you said a day had passed.
It's the same day.
But
she doesn't know that. She doesn't know that you can't do it again. So if you want to just slightly retcon, like I could do it again.
Sure.
I think that's fine. So
I mean, there's no reason we can't detain her for 24 hours.
No, absolutely.
And anything you say now can be verified later.
Perception checks, everyone.
That work?
Yes, it did.
Okay, no, it worked twice though.
It multiple times.
It double worked.
Bix.
Yeah.
And Mikhael, you notice her hands under the table are making motions. They are making...
Isn't she manacled?
She is.
Can you cast spells while manacled with somatic opponents?
I don't believe so.
Is she trying to do that? I don't know.
Bix, you notice that the manacles, they're a little looser than you might have expected them to be as well.
This is, I don't want to be too repetitive, but this would be the point where Mikhael would stop this? If someone else wants to go first, then please go ahead.
I don't think Eckhard noticed, did he?
He did not.
He looks up at her. If you're trying so hard to stay on our good side, why are your manacles loose? And why are you moving your hands under the table?
She stops the motion she's doing, brings both her hands unmanacled up to the table. Once again, because I don't wish to be trapped again, just under a different master.
This is for our own safety, I'm sure you understand.
Yeah, Eckhard
I would
stands,
recommend
hand on his pick.
If you are trying to get on our good side, then commit to it.
There is a silence in the room that is broken by the queen saying, just give me a minute with her. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute with that little... And then as that happens, Odafi looks over at Ven, and you hear her say, Ven, and only you hear this. Sorry, buddy. In an instance, she fades into smoke and vanishes back into the wall as though she phased through it.
Can I make an attack of opportunity? Can we roll initiative?
You absolutely can roll initiative on this one. Absolutely.
Before
absolutely.
she does that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Good enough for me.
Yeah, it's good. Good. For sure. And why don't you go ahead and make that attack roll?
Okay. Well, it's not me first, I assume.
Yeah. Who reacts first? Bix would be first.
1 second.
It's me. I didn't click my token in the first place, but I've got 1906.
Okay. Ven is up first.
Ven, in an attempt to pin Odafi, puts his foot up on the edge of the table and shoves forward to pin her between the wall and the table. Oh, good. I forgot I have a bunch of strength damage.
Oh, shadow.
Yes.
Ven goes to shove the table, but shoves himself back and he slams into the wall. Nice. No damage taken, but that's a big oaken table. It's probably like 200 pounds, but I like where your mind's at. Bix, you're up next.
Let's see. I think I have the spell for this. Shit. Totally forgot about my new 2nd level spell that would have possibly helped. I'm going to cast Entangle.
I will say this, probably not a great idea because there's no natural vines or anything in here that would activate the spell. Like all the weeds that may be poking through the stone walkways outside might spring to life, but
there's no decorative plants.
No. That would be a Temple of Gazra you'd be thinking of.
Let's see, that's around.
As this is happening, you can see the smoke starting to wisp up around her, but just add a little flavor to it. But pretty much everyone gets to act beforehand, so we'll see what happens.
Sorry, I just gotta check my cantrips to make sure I can't do anything else. I'm going to cast guidance on Mikhail.
I like it. I like it. Okay. 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 Mikhail.
You get a
It's
+1.
me. Thank you. I'll make a full attack against her. She's flat-footed because she hasn't gone yet. So I'm using my sap that will do non-lethal damage. So
That'll hit.
first hit, and then I will bite her.
Wow. Aggressive.
Yeah. Also, for can natural attacks do non-lethal damage by default? That's kind of a GM question, I think.
Yeah, you could grab onto her shoulder, but focus on to where like maybe like it's more clothed and not like bite down too hard, but just like I don't know, could like headbutt her or something. We could say I'm cool with it. That's fine.
Okay. Non-lethal damage. That doesn't hit.
All right. So you thwack her over the back of the head,
and I give her debilitating injury to AC.
Okay.
So her AC is lower.
Eckhard Gerst, you're up next.
Eckhard is going to climb right onto the table and with a 5-foot step. I can just do a move. Actually, I don't need to. He's going to move onto the table.
Yep.
Standing above her, pick in hand, and ready in action to attack her if she begins to cast a spell.
Okay. And as her turn comes around, there is a franticness, there is a nervousness in her eyes, and she commits, goes to cast the spell.
All right. Rolling my attack here.
Oh, damn.
This is a bad idea.
Is that 9 damage?
Yes.
She takes the pick right in the shoulder. Like, you bury it into her shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And she screams in pain. And she goes to attempt to cast her spell. And I'm gonna make the concentration check. We're gonna see what happens. And okay, 20 plus damage dealt. And as she goes to cast, you watch the smoke whip up and around, and then it fizzles, and she just cries, and then crumples to the side, and is just bleeding out of her shoulder, and just starts to weep and cry that she won't be a prisoner again. She won't be a prisoner again.
Eckhard gestures down at her with a pick and says, the next time you do this, we might need to sew your mouth shut and sew your fingers together. If manacles aren't going to hold you and you aren't going to act like a civilized individual and obey the rule of law, we'll need to start acting outside the rule of law ourselves.
And she is just curls into a tiny little ball right there, holding onto her shoulder that's bleeding. The huge lump on the back of her head, and just curls into a little ball and is not comatose, but is just she's given up. She's completely given up.
Eckhard's just breathing hard over. He's not happy about a second attempted escape after Mercy was shown the first time. He advocated on her behalf.
Yeah.
Eckhard is going to go back to put her manacles back onto her because she is still unmanacled.
Yeah.
She resists slightly, but it's a weakness. Like, it's weak resistance, and you're just able to pull her hands, and she's just crying, no, please. I don't want to be a prisoner again. I don't want to be a prisoner again. Please let me go. Just let me go. I'll leave. Please, I'll go away. I'll leave Solaria. Please, just let me go. And she's
Care about the book,
again.
not you at this point.
Then let me go, please. Just let me go.
You're the solution to the book. Use your head.
And just kind of crumples in the corner, like just crying to herself about being trapped again. And stepping inside, you see the High Priestess. You see Elga. She's, oh, it seems things have gotten worse in here. The Queen wishes to speak with all of you. Well, actually, not all of you, just her council members. You and you, pointing to Eckhard and Mikhael.
Eckhard shakes his head, still breathing heavily. Looking to the others. Excuse me.
I look up at him. I'll take care of her. Bix will go over with Polly, and he'll be like, guard. He pops down, and then Bix will cast Cure Light on her.
She recoils from the green, like golden glow of your hand, the healing magic. She recoils from it, terrified of you coming towards her. So if you press in, you can do it, but she looks
Eckhard
broken.
grabs the book on the way out.
Ah, excellent. I need you to roll me. I need you to roll me a will save, Eckhard. There it is. 21. Eckhard. You hear some whispers in the back of your mind. It's like a tingling sensation, like if you ever like lightly shocked yourself, like a pretty intense static shock. There's some like whispers though that kind of like trickles up your arm. This shock hits the back of your mind, and it's incomprehensible. You can't understand it. It's just like distant whispers in the back of your mind. But the book feels really heavy for a moment, and then it passes.
Definitely puts it into a pouch at that point, and trying not to maintain direct contact with it any more than he has to.
Not a bad idea. And the two of you are able to go to the Queen's chambers and meet with her. Dawkin is there, letting both of you inside. He looks a little better than he did before, a little less haggard, a little less tired after his ordeal. And he lets you all inside, steps to the side, and the Queen is sitting at the end of this table. And she's not looking down at her desk like she did last time. She is looking at the two of you, and her expression is one of exhaustion, frustration, and anger, I would say. She's all of these emotions. Explain to me what has happened in detail. I mean, no disrespect to your High Priestess, Eckhard, but I don't trust everything she just told me. What really happened here?
We came to the Mint after rescuing Dawkin, or liberating Dawkin from what was possessing him. We came for healing. We heard a commotion downstairs after receiving it. I stormed downstairs and found what appeared to be Vinwavar in the vault with the book. Upon wrestling the supposed Vinwavar to the ground, it revealed itself to be Odaphy. And you come to our present situation where we have Odaphy in custody and Vinwavar. Out of character. I was gone after how Ven got released, so I would let Mikhael fill him in.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wasn't there either.
Oh, shit. Gotcha.
He just walked into the room and didn't have handcuffs on. I don't know. What to tell you.
I thought we'd said we explained it.
Yeah, you did. I wasn't, but she said she doesn't believe what the High Priestess says or something. I don't know. I'll tell her. I tell her what I was told.
Yeah, Eckhard would also reiterate. Vinwavar was released. I have no reason to distrust my High Priestess. The only Vinwavar that I saw was the false Vinwavar in the vault, who became Odaphy upon being wrestled to the ground.
She looks to Mikhael. How did she escape?
Well, I was unfortunately not present for the events, but I can tell you the accounts that I have heard, which is to say that Vinwavar seemed to have orchestrated some sort of plan to help her escape. And some sort of enchantment magic was involved from her part, though he claimed that it was not that which caused him to help her.
So let me get
Afterwards,
this straight. Let me understand exactly what has transpired under the watchful eye of my council members. One of yours that you spoke for, that you said you would look after, has attempted to release a enemy of the state, the literal spawn of that dickless son of a bitch. Is it right? Do I have this completely clear in this moment?
Eckhard looks to Mikhael.
Well, Your Highness, he was being manipulated in some way. It is, of course, plain as day to me and everyone else, I believe. I look over to Eckhard for some support.
Eckhard maintains looking at Mikhael. Ven is both his responsibility and he won't lie, but he did say omission is not a lie.
Mm-hmm. So I take it Eckhard does not think Ven was being manipulated. Okay.
No,
I look away.
Under truth-telling magic that she didn't use compulsion.
No, I meant like, not magically manipulated, just manipulated.
Oh yeah, no, Eckhard to speak to that. Yeah, no, she's clearly been playing Ven like a fiddle this whole time up till about 10 minutes ago.
Yes. Now, I'm sure that you will realize for yourself if you talk to him, but Van Weaver has absolutely realized that this is the devil woman we're talking about. She's not to be trusted. And, well, I believe, in fact, that he's quite solidly on our side.
Vinwavar may not be an asset to the kingdom, but Vinwavar is an asset to the group. Unfortunately, he is also a chaotic individual. Whether or not you value his ability to assist us more highly than the danger he poses, which has been greatly reduced, I believe, based on Odife's betrayal of him. That is a decision for you to make.
Your Highness, I believe Van Weaver's actions were guided by his pure heart. And he is young, so he acts rashly sometimes. I cannot fault him for that. And the girl was important to him, so he did what he had to do to protect her. It is only human, is it not?
Give me a diplomacy check. You're going to want to
Both of
roll
us?
really well. If you want to assist him, you can. Yeah.
Eckhard will assist.
You're gonna need some big numbers here.
I'll spend a hero point for a +8.
I don't think I can fail assisting a diplomacy check, can I? Maybe. No, I can. I only have +7, not +8.
Okay. 24 +2 +8, 34.
The queen looks as though she's about to burst. Dawkin takes a small, like 2.5 foot, so like half a square step away from her as she slowly rises, and her face becomes flushed red, filled with anger and rage. And then as you finish, as you state, he was young, he was manipulated, he's young, he's impressionable. She just plops back into her chair, and that look of anger disappears from her face, that look of frustration, and now she has this kind of longing look on her face. I too...
That's what I was going for.
was once young and in love. I was... dare I even say smitten with the one that we call king. It's been a very long and arduous day of deliberations with the mayor of Varnhold. I wish to retire for the day. We will figure out what to do with Odife and Venavar in the morning. For the time being, my only order is to keep them separated. But you two are dismissed.
course, we are ever at your beck and call, Your Highness.
The bow turns on his heel and walks out of the room.
And as the two of you leave, the last expression you see is her bringing her hands up to her face, covering her mouth like this. She looks like she's about to cry. The emotion of the day is about to just finally get to her, and
Same odds.
Dawkins takes that 2.5 half a square step back towards her and just stands. And she doesn't break down. She doesn't fall to tears, but she looks very, very, very thoughtful as you exit. And while that's all going on, we want to go back over to the room with Odifee. And I see we got a little bit of text here. I think you started, trust you enough to give you the book, and you will trust me enough to let you heal you now. And she does eventually relent, Bix, to let you heal her. And, you know, Polly is right there next to her, about as big as she is. She's a smaller woman. And she looks down at the manacles. She looks to Bix. Please don't let them put me back in that cage. Please, just release me. You can release me, can't you? Just let me go. All I want to do is go. I don't want to be here anymore. Please.
Listen.
What if you had that chance?
Oh my God! Look at that kitty.
That's it. That is a kitty.
I'm sorry.
She's so fluffy.
I got distracted by the kitty.
It's the little
and it's another kitty.
It's the little
There's so many kitties. All right. Back to it. Listen. Your own actions are what are putting you back in that cage. But I will do everything and he gestures down to Polly, will do everything that we can, everything in our power to keep you from being hurt. We'll keep you safe. But your confinement is due to your own actions.
And she just retreats more internal and just gets as close to the wall as is possible, just shoving herself into that corner. Polly even has to take a slight step forward to continue to guard her, and she just puts her face, you know, her manacled arms, just kind of puts her face down, her knees pulled tight, puts her face into her knees, and just all you can see is the top of her head.
He looks over at Ven. I don't know what else we can do for her.
I mean, you're not wrong. This is her own. She built this prison.
But like I told her, I'm not going to let anything happen to her. She might be in the prison, but she'll be safe there, at least from us, from Solaria.
With that, the others return, and unless you all have anything else you'd like to discuss this evening, we can progress to the next day. And you know, I'd like to leave the floor open. Anything else? So Odifee is returned to her cell. Just doesn't resist, doesn't fight back, doesn't do anything. It's just resigned to it. The queen does not call for you. She just stays in her own chambers. Elga is busy putting the mint back together, adding additional wards, seals, protective spells. And what do you all do for the rest of the evening, or would you just like to progress to the next day?
Eckhard has one thing to do, but that's pretty minor. He just wants to go check up on the armorer making his plate.
A man of purpose. I love it. And as you check up with the armor making your plate, it's almost done. Another
right.
day or two should be completed. Absolutely.
Perfect. And he would also like to pray for absolution for Abadar for speaking about committing acts outside the law.
That's interesting.
If they are going to leave him to his own devices, Ven's going to go find Armand and tell him that maybe we soften up on the characterization of the Foxman.
Soften up on the characterization of the Foxman. I am curious.
Yes, well, see, previously he was going to be the villain of the piece, and now
okay.
maybe we
like
let
that.
him be.
I like that. I like that.
We
a
let
lot,
him be like an
actually.
anti-hero now. He'll still be like the foil to the main hero,
Okay.
Benwivar, but
Just
now maybe he
misguided.
doesn't have to die at the end.
Blau, what do you do? Eckhard, what do you do with the book?
Keeps it on his person.
Excellent. I like that. Where does Bix retire to as the day kind of winds down?
We're going to we're going back to the tavern, and we're going to get very quietly and very deeply drunk.
I like that. Like that, Mikhael?
I will also go get drunk later. First, I have to go to my informant, Perry, because there were apostles in the city, and I did not find out about it until it was too late. So
There was
I would like
one.
to go have a word, and see what he's been up to.
Okay. So as you go looking for Perry, you check his normal little hidey hole underneath the house. He's not there. You go and look for him, maybe around the Clumsy Bear. He's not there. You search all of his normal spots, and he is nowhere to be found.
Well, this is worrying. I'll go ask Sigbert if he's seen him recently.
You go and you ask Sigbert. Sigbert is busy. There's a little bit of a, not like a festival or anything or like a party, but there's a larger gathering of just, travelers and some locals that have come, and they're trying to like reignite what happened the other night, but it's not even nearly as big. It's not even like a 1/100th of that party, but they're just having a good time. And haven't seen him. Haven't seen him around. Usually he stops by to try and get some free food or sneak some alcohol, but I always tell him no, not until he's at least 14. But with that being said, no, haven't seen him.
All right. Well, if you do, then please make note of it. I would like to know. And enjoy the celebration. And Kyle will walk off. And since I wasn't able to find my informant, could I do a quick gather information roll around the city?
Absolutely.
I will go around talking to people in like different forms, and see if I can find out anything about the apostles in the city. Like
you are moving around the inside of the city. You're putzing around. You actually end up in the Pearl Village, which is a kind of like a smaller section on the east side of town. And as you are, poking around, what form would you be in as you enter into Pearl Village?
Let's say I'm an adventure, like I'm dressed as an adventure, like an elven woman, let's say. Sure.
You're dressed as an elven woman, and you're speaking with a couple of local townsfolk. No, I haven't seen anyone. No apostles. I heard they were all over in Sunspire. Sound like a bunch of masked idiots. They're probably all ugly because they wear masks that are hiding their features. But that's not very polite. Why would they be ugly? Maybe they had a scar and got wounded when they were young. And just back and forth, completely not useful. But you hear this from like down an alleyway and behind a building. You hear this.
Like I remember this. I will leave those two to their arguing and walk over to the alleyway, kind of sneaky, like quiet.
Poke your head around the alleyway, and sitting on a small little little bench that's been just mashed together with like extra boards behind a building. There's a little trash bin, a couple flies zipping around. You see Perry fiddling with some kind of, little mechanism or a little like automatron thing. He's like fiddling with it. He's like zip, zip, and
Hello, little one.
Hello.
Up to anything fun?
No,
No. You
Maybe.
were tinkering with something, were you not?
no. And the thing he's tinkering with, he is hiding behind his back.
I promise I won't tell.
He takes it back out, and it looks like a tiny little mechanical fox. It was supposed to be a surprise, but I guess you've seen it now, and I can't really get it to work. Every time I spin it, it starts to like do a little nip yip thing, and then it stops working. Sorry.
A surprise for who?
And he
Still another one.
slowly pulls it back. For a friend. I mean, he's a friend. I don't know. He's kind of like, he's not really my dad, but he kind of like, my dad's not around. And then, he just kind of goes on a little tangent about how, the fox person that is his friend is kind of like a father figure to him, and just has a moment.
Well, sounds like you care about this person. I'm sure you will figure out how to make that a wonderful present. Now, you seem like the kind of kid who knows what's going on around the block, as it were.
Harry lets out a heavy sigh. Oh, this again. Yeah, 5 gold for what I know, 10 gold for what I know, and 15 gold for the whole kit and caboodle.
Tell you what, I will give you 30 gold if you tell me everything you know about apostles in Varnhold.
And with that, I think that's a good moment to let that scene sit for a moment, because I want to let everyone else, if there's any other conversations they want to have with any NPCs, anywhere they would have gone after, say, the armor, going to get shit-faced, going to talk to Hermando, any other scenes, any other NPCs you guys wanted to interact with.
I guess before I started drinking, I'd go look for the little girl.
She is not and no longer at the Clumsy Bear, and you would find out that she's actually been taken to one of the orphanages in town. There are 2 orphanages in town, and she's been taken there and put under the watchful eye of the orphanage mother, as it were, until either she is adopted or grows of age and can go off on her own.
Is it a good orphanage? Do I know?
You know what? There are no bad orphanages in Varnhold. They are reputable. They take care of the children. They give them vocational training. Like, it's actually one of the things in Solaria that, like, kids that lose their parents, etc., they end up in, like, orphanages, and, it's not just like, oh, here's your slop, please, want some more. It's like,
yeah.
Hey, here's some training to make sure you get up and on your feet. Like, the king and council did put a lot of money into making sure that the children that are often forgotten, even Arsenios, the harvester himself, put a lot of his extra money into making sure that orphanages were up and running and that kids had opportunities so they didn't end up in gangs or bandits and on the street. Yeah.
Okay. I will do something with that information in the morning.
Perfect.
Then yeah, Polly and I are going to get powerfully
drunk.
Powerfully drunk.
I like it.
Quietly drunk.
Then, oh, go ahead, please quietly.
Just off in a corner drinking
Yeah.
by ourselves.
Yeah. Polly and you, because Polly now has an intelligence of 3, like grabs like 2 shot glasses, is like click, 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 knocks it back, both of them simultaneously.
Oh.
He's smart enough to know that he's smart enough to make bad decisions, but consciously.
Yeah.
But with that being said,
Shots.
Yeah, that's good. And that's where we're at. So, but Brian, you are with Hermando, and when you arrive at Hermando's scroll and potion shop. You find that it's a little bit later in the day, around when the shop would be closed, but the shop isn't closed. However, the door of the shop is slightly open, as though someone maybe had gone in. And even as you push the door open, you don't hear the bell jingle, but you hear some music coming from the back room, and it sounds like maybe a 3-string or 4-string quartet. And you hear Armando's voice. No, you're doing it all wrong. All right, so here's what I do. Again, from the top, and 1 and 2 and Solaria is the no, completely off key. It's so hard to find good musicians in such a backwater. Oh, I'm such a okay. From the top again. From the top. Ready? This story it goes and no, that's the Edmund Fitzgerald. Damn it! Okay, you're doing it all wrong. All wrong. And then you walk in to find Hermando trying to write some music with a cello, violin, a viola, and a stand-up bass, and he's trying to write some music for your upcoming show, as it were. But he turns back. Oh, then I wasn't expecting you, but it's lovely to see you here. And these are some of the I use the word loosely, but musicians I was able to find on short notice to put together our production. And oh dear, you look like you've been through. Oh, you're all dismissed. A 10-minute break, not dismissed. Stay around, and we'll figure it out. And it's 2 gnomes, a halfling, and a half-orc on bass. That's the 4-string ensemble. And
excellent.
they all get up. You hear the half go, "Oh, he's such a don't be a dick about it. I mean, if we wrote good music, maybe we could do something." And then they all and one of the gnomes is like, "I don't know. He seems nice enough. I mean, he's paying us up front. Wait, you're getting paid?" And then they move off to the side room, etc. And but Hermando is here, and he goes, my friend, let's take a seat. You look like you've had a bit of a day, dare I say, a bit of a day. So
Well, the plot thickens.
Oh, wait, there's more plot. Let me grab my journal and I'm ready. Proceed.
First of all, you won't believe this, but the Foxman, not a villain.
What?
I know, right?
That was the entire core of our story, was the Foxman being a villain. You're telling me we have to rewrite the whole fucking thing.
It turns out
oh my.
No. See, you haven't ruined anything, because it turns out,
Yes.
third act twist,
Okay.
the Queen's the actual villain.
Wait, the Queen is a villain? But she's the good one. She's the Queen of the kingdom.
See, that's why it's a good third act twist.
That doesn't feel like a twist. That just feels like a GM fiat. Sorry, breaking the fourth wall.
It feels like I'm going to be in jail.
Feels like I'm going to be arrested.
Okay.
Thrown into prison.
All right. Well, that's fair. I mean, we don't want to compromise the integrity of the show, but we also want to be able to put it on, right? So what if we replace the character of the Queen with a witch?
I love it. Oh my God, I love it. So everyone will know, more than likely, hint, nudge, say no more, that it is the Queen, but it will be the witch character, as it were.
Exactly.
I love your mindset. You are brilliant. For someone.
And in fact, we could loop it back around so that the whole hag situation was a witch plot to create sympathy for the witch.
That's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love it. I couldn't have written it better myself. I'm gonna have to go back and do a couple of minor rewrites, etc. But are you good with music? No, you're a host person. Of course not good with music. I digress. But with that being said, this is wonderful. This is brilliant. I'm sure there's more to tell, but this is enough to digest. And carry on. I keep doing you, good sir. Keep doing you. And he just stands up. He's like, we're going to be rich and famous.
Yes.
And then he goes back. And he goes, all right, back at it. All right, from the top. And then you hear the grumbling and whatnot. Go ahead, Ben.
Ben will slowly extricate himself. All right, cool, excellent. And then I need to go buy a pound of metal, of lead.
Yeah, you can buy a pound of lead.
Preferably.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Totally doable. Yeah.
Awesome.
Eckhard, any conversations? Anyone that you would go and meet with?
I don't think so.
I think so.
No, I think he's more worried about himself, about how he acted there.
Yeah.
He's in contemplation.
So you're in contemplation, and you're walking away from the armor. He's mentioned he needs just a couple more days, but it's looking perfect. I mean, just finely crafted. So I believe it was masterwork you were going for. Yeah, so it is fine. And he goes, I could have rushed it, but I wanted to take a little extra time. The symbol on the front, I wanted to get it just right for you. So I'm taking a couple extra days here. The gold inlay is going to take a little extra time, but it should be ready just a day later than I had promised you. But as you're walking down the street, again, it's about 4:30 in the afternoon, early evening, and you're having these thoughts you've mentioned, Eckhard, of this kind of regret. You threaten to break the core tenets of your faith, right? And once again, you get that tingling sensation, but it doesn't travel up your arm. It travels from the side that you carry that pouch on, where the book is. Travels up your side into your gut. It's kind of almost like a warming sensation, like you've had like a shot of whiskey or something, and like warms your inside, right? And as you get that kind of warm sensation, you once again hear those whispers in the back of your mind. Give us another will save here, if you wouldn't mind.
Did it go through?
Did not.
Tap it again.
But I can tap it for you.
Can.
I'm at Z saves? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Z save.
I don't know why yours are backwards. The Z should be on the end.
That is an 8.
That's not great.
It's not great.
Very fortuitous though.
And you're walking, and you're so lost in thought, Eckhard. You're so deep into this feeling of regret that feeling of regret starts to feel heavy. It starts to feel like there's this lead-filled cloak on your shoulders that's starting to wear you down, and each step becomes more and more laborsome. And those whispers, they get louder and louder and louder and louder until it feels like and sounds like you're surrounded by voices. And as it rises to this almost deafening peak, like a crescendo up into this moment, there is that grand pause. So like a music, and it's rising, it's building, and then it's silence. And you blink, and you look around, and you notice that the streets are surprisingly empty. And the area around you is filled with a kind of greenish black mist that is just above your ankles. As you take a slight step forward, you watch as it kind of wisps up. And those whispers that you were hearing seem to be a little bit farther off. And then there is a voice. It comes from in front, behind, to the left, to the right, as though it's coming from all around. So much regret. Do you truly feel remorse for what you threatened to do? Or did it give you, that is to say, make you feel powerful?
Clutch his head and start, no.
Don't fight what you know to be the path to strength, the path to glory. What better way to protect those you care about, those that you claim allegiance to, than to find strength in whatever you can? The smoke that is on the ground starts to coalesce into a shadowy humanoid shape. It's about 30 feet in front of Eckhard. You see that it has blazing green eyes where its head would be, but it's all very amorphous. It's not quite solid, but it's shadowy hands, shadowy arms. I can give you that power. You need only let me in. What does Eckhard do?
Takes off down the street. That's a burden I don't know if I can bear. I need time.
And as Eckhard takes off down the street, we're going to have you make another will save.
That one roll? You might just be doing it for me now.
That's totally good. I can help you.
I mean, if I failed them all, it's on you. No, I'm just joking.
That is an 11. Now, you do have hero points. You could re-roll.
I have 1 hero point.
That is up to you.
But, I will re-roll that. He is strong in his faith.
16. 16. All right. Much better. That was worth the re-roll. So you're running Eckhard, and again, that feeling of that weight. And there's a truth in this amorphous shadow person's words. Like, you know what? If you were stronger, maybe you could have prevented the attack. Maybe you could have prevented what happened. If you were stronger, you could protect the roadways more. You could be a more powerful advocate. Wouldn't Abadar want you to have more strength? Wouldn't Abadar want you to be a paragon of the ability to protect those around you, the roadways, etc.? And then you're like, no, fuck, it's a creepy fucking shadow monster. That's fucking stupid. Why would I want that? And as you burst through, you feel yourself collide with another person, and you open your eyes, and there's a small crowd of people that have gathered around you, and you've run into a town guard who is holding your shoulders and says, priest, what is wrong with you? Are you all right?
Mind is being assailed by forces beyond this realm. I apologize.
It's a very truthful statement. He looks worried and doesn't release your shoulders right away. Is there someone that we should speak to on your behalf?
If you'd like to walk me to the mint, you're welcome to. I'm going to go seek atonement now.
He nods his head. I'd be happy to do so. George, I'm escorting the priest back to the mint. Right up. And then he will walk you back with not like holding on to you, but he's very close and a little side-eyed expression at you. Mm-hmm. And the last thing that I'll leave you with, Eckhard, with that scene is you hear that voice. It's very, very distant, as though it's like, you know, on the other side of the map. You know, it's really far off, other side of the compound, as it were, many compounds over. But as you hear it, and it's tick, tock, tick. And that's all you hear. Just a very deep, rumbling voice. But we go back to Mikhael, who is an elven adventurer lady, and Perry, and he's fiddling around with a little thing, and you know, he said that he really likes, you know, this person and looks up to them and wants to be like them when he grows up, even though he's just a human boy. And he wishes he could transform too, because then he could be whoever he needed to be, but he's just stuck in his own form and blah, blah, blah. But you have offered this child 30 gold.
Holding up 3 platinum.
Oh my god, he's salivating. Literally, physically salivating in this moment. Like, okay, so, okay, and he drops the little fox thing, and it hits the ground with a little bloop. Doesn't break. It just starts going, and like walking, he goes, I fixed it. Nice. And he looks over at the elven Mikhael and says, okay, you're not going to believe this, but there are no apostles in town. There's a guy that looks like an apostle, right? Like, he sings, well, the rumor has it, okay? I can't guarantee or deny. Wait, you are paying me 3 platinum. That's 30 gold. That's a lot. That's more than oh my god, I could buy a... Anyway, right. So, there's a shadow guy in town that people keep thinking that they hear. Also, folks are complaining about hearing voices in their heads. It's kind of weird. I don't know. I also thought I heard someone talking to me too. It said, I could give you the power to do things. And I was like, get fucked. And, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to swear. And, I told him to buzz off. And so he stopped bothering me, or it stopped bothering me. I don't know what it was. But, okay. So TLDR, we've got, okay, so there's a shadow guy. He's walking around town. There's voices asking, if we want to be stronger. Sounds an awful like the apostles. Maybe it is the apostles. I don't know. Is this helping? Do I get paid?
Finish your thought, dear.
And he goes on for a little while, bumbling around.
Okay.
And as he's bumbling around, he finally wraps up and says, I don't think the apostles are here. I think, based on what I've heard, someone's pretending to be the apostles. But isn't? I don't know why anyone would want to do that.
That is a very interesting conclusion. Now, the shadowy man, please describe him as accurately as you can.
He describes him in a spitting image of the man you saw, I think twice you've seen him? Yeah. Spitting image.
Yeah. Well, you have been very helpful. What's your name again?
Perry.
Perry, then. You have been very helpful. And
What's your name?
My name is Milora.
That's really pretty. How old are you? You're an elf. Don't they live like hundreds of years? I'm sorry, is that rude to ask? I'm not really good with people.
I will kind of lean closer to him and say, yes.
143.
Oh, I just say nothing and pat him on the head.
Wait,
and then
was I right?
And then as I pat him, I
back.
leave like 3
No.
gold in his hand. Like 3 platinum rather.
Oh, you shortchanged the kid?
I don't sort
Forever scarring him against elves in their lying ways.
Yeah.
Wow, he joins up with Godfrey.
Terrible.
That would
Maybe
be
I am
awful.
the villain.
Maybe you are the villain. I think you might be the villain.
No,
But you gather
3
this
platinum.
information, and with that, we will progress forward to the next day. Eckhard, you return to the Mint. You're able to have these moments of atonement, and I'll let you determine whether or not you feel you've atoned fully. If you feel like you're still carrying this burden, that's up to you. But the only question I really have for Eckhard is, do you continue to hold on to the book at this point?
He would ask the the banker's advice, and he would also ask for an escort of two of the acolytes to make sure he doesn't lose his head again. And if he does, he isn't a burden to the church.
The banker suggests, despite what you've described, that you continue to hold on to the book, and she explains herself that whatever this is, whatever is attempting to do whatever it is attempting to do, like whatever it's trying to do, whatever it is and whatever it's trying to do, you have a connection to it. And even though it's trying to control you, it gives us a window into the enemy's compound, into their thoughts. She will keep 2 acolytes with you at all times and ask that you continually keep her updated on what's happening. And if at any point you feel you cannot control it and that it will overcome you, you then return the book to the Mint. You return it to the vault, and it'll be locked down even more securely than it was before. That is her suggestion.
That's a burden I will bear, even if it may compromise me.
Your faith is strong, Eckhard. You will not be compromised. Knock on wood. Famous last words. Continue.
Yeah.
All right.
I do hope so when he departs.
Yeah. And, dawn breaks. And where would everyone find themselves the next day?
You know, crying in an alley somewhere. No.
Do you stay at the Mint that night?
If there is a cell available, yes.
Absolutely.
You know,
There
like
would be.
a yeah.
For sure. Yep. The only thing that would really be like heard, other than, you know, some maybe acolytes saying their prayers, you know, general things, is you would hear a soft crying from the basement. That is likely Odafi. And these like faint cries of I just want freedom. I just want to be free again. And Ven, do you return to the Clumsy Bear?
Yep.
Okay. So dawn breaks. Made that joke twice now. It's still not funny. And as dawn breaks, I'd like to open up with Ven, a very hungover Polly, who I would like to point out is holding on to a flask that Bix is grabbing towards. They're still at the same table, and it looks like they were fighting over it that night, and nobody won. Because remember, Polly's about is bigger than Bix. He's about as big as, like, I don't know, Eckhard, and it's just like grabbing onto it. You can see like his mouth is like softly like gumming, trying to gnaw onto Bix's arm, and Bix is biting onto his forearm, and they're like grabbing onto this flask, and they are still slightly passed up, but you can wake up whenever you want, Bix. And Ven and Mikhael, I assume you would have returned to the Clumsy Bear as well?
Yeah.
Excellent. So you awaken. Once again, the smell of bacon, eggs, ham,
How many
some
strength damage do I
biscuits.
heal?
It is 1 per night. Is the way to heal. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I walk down to the tavern area. I see Ven sitting there with Bix, I assume.
Yeah, except I've got a big plate of like breakfast hash.
Yeah, I go, didn't run away. Interesting. and then I look to Polly and I go, what? Is Polly slightly bigger than... am I saying things because I remember him being... Never mind. I will have some breakfast as well. And I sit down at the table with him and order breakfast. Well, you look a bit worse for wear still. What is the matter?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I'm fine. I mean, I'm still worried about Odafi. I feel a little guilty.
Well, I would say she brought this upon herself, and well, you did what you could, did you not?
Yeah, and I don't feel guilty about that part. I just feel guilty for having been part of the problem, I guess, that kept her caged.
Really? That is also surprising. Well, hopefully we won't have any more problems with the law.
Again,
And,
define the law.
When I say that, I mean, obviously, do not get caught committing crimes against Solaria.
Like I would commit a crime against Solaria.
Yes. Is Bix still sleeping? Yeah, I'm just gonna poke him a little. Bix? Looks like someone had a bit too much of a good time partying last night. Well, we have things to do. I do not know if I've mentioned, but I did take a quick look in the library about this so-called Book of Shadows that we are investigating, and I did not find much at all. So we have to figure out the next step in looking for information. And seeing as how you are knowledgeable about magic, I am assuming.
What do you want to do eventually with this book? What's the Queen's intention? What are we... do you want to destroy it? Do we want to send it back to the Plane of Shadows? What is the end goal?
Well, I can tell you the next step is trying to understand it. And I can also tell you I do not trust what that Odafi woman was saying, regardless of any truth-telling magic. I would prefer to understand this book by our own means rather than trusting her words.
Mikhael, do you trust my expertise of magic?
Yes.
Sometimes when magic originates from a place that scary, you are better off not understanding it. You may not believe the reason that she gives for wanting to get rid of that book, but trust me when I tell you that unless you want to get into some serious magical depth, leaving the shadow plane to the shadow plane is probably your best bet.
Well, I'm not planning to do anything with it, of course. I'm not much of adventuring sort, I'm sure you know.
I'm starting to get the impression that gathering information is your thing, and this is one of the very few times where I can tell you with absolute certainty that the more you learn about this thing, the worse off you're going to be.
I do not see
Shadow
what the
magic,
alternative is.
shadow magic, shadow knowledge, they are all just stains on your soul.
Very well. you seem very knowledgeable on the matter. What would you do in this case then?
I'd destroy it.
Hmm.
Whatever power it offers, it's going to come at a price, and that price is always higher than you're willing to pay, no matter what you're willing to pay.
All right. How would you go about destroying it then?
Have you ever put a portable hole inside of a bag of holding?
No.
Have you heard about what happens when you do that?
No.
So according to legend, it creates a tear in the fabric of reality, and then things are sucked in until the hole is filled, but those things fall into the crack between realities. So not any plane, just in the spaces that exist between the planes. That's what I would do with that book.
And you believe that it will be safe there?
No, I believe it'll be inaccessible to everyone and anything.
I suppose that is good enough. Sounds like an expensive plan, but if it is
there are other ways
then...
to access that. There are other ways to access that space, but because it's undefined, you can never access the same part of it twice, and it's infinite. The space between planes. At least that's what they told us in the Arcanum? In the place that I got trained in.
Yes. Well, sounds like an interesting plan. I propose you bring this up to the rest of us. Looks at Bix.
Ollie stirs a little bit and growls a little bit, and then slowly pulls the flask towards him. But Bix, you're still holding on to it.
Then conjures a mage hand, and the mage hand comes down and just gently lifts the flask out of there, so that they're now not fighting over anything. Just sets it on the table next to the.
Polly reaches for where the flask was, but only finds Bix's face, and then starts to pull it towards him and lick his brow.
That's hilarious. Well, I believe the queen.
It's okay,
also...
baby.
Oh.
It's okay.
He's
Bix
awake?
is here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Polly's licking his ear. It's weird.
I believe the queen also had things to talk to us about regarding the mayor. I do not know if that is of any concern to you, but I'm sure you will be free to tag along. Maybe not inside the meeting.
And at the mention of tag along, maybe not inside the meeting, we're actually going to cut over to the Mint, where Eckhard, you've had a bit of a restless night. You know, lots in your mind, lots to process. No whispers, no dark and terrible voices at all. Just your own thoughts, which may be at this point worse than any outside forces. But as we open up your scene, you have a small little alcove or a little room to yourself. You are a tax master, so you would get your own little private chamber set up for you. There is a light but purposeful knock on your door.
I'd probably let it sit for a little bit too long. Kind of lost himself before saying, "Oh, enter."
And the door opens, and in steps Sarah. Good morning, Taxmaster. I heard that you weren't feeling well.
Certainly a morning. Not feeling the best. The book is putting a strain upon me, and as of my own actions. I said some things I shouldn't to Odafie, but I don't feel like I want to apologize because I don't want her to feel she has more space here to operate than she does.
She nods her head. I'm sorry I failed you back there.
Failed me?
I let someone inside. Well, they were already inside, but I didn't try to stop them. They just got me, and if I had been more aware and present, and if I was watching as we're supposed to watch. That's what the good book does tell us. That I could have maybe alerted you, and he could have.
I don't think there was anything you could have done there. As alert as you. 1 second.
Grand pause.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
I don't think it would have mattered however alert that you were. I think he was a foe beyond us. Maybe the banker could have handled him, but the banker was busy at the time. He slipped past me as well. And Bix. I think it's right to analyze what you've done wrong, but not beat yourself up over it.
Right. Can I be honest with you, Taxmaster?
Of course.
I don't know if this is all for me.
He'd nod. Not gone too far to pick up a trade. Your life isn't set for the clergy yet. Give it a little bit longer. See what you think. See if this is a crisis of faith or truly a break in it. Or not even necessarily a break. A different calling.
Have you ever questioned your faith?
I don't think that's a discussion for right now. Not with how I'm feeling.
She nods her head and looks no more assured of herself than she did when she walked in. That look of, and forgive me, I didn't really describe her to you, but she's got this look of, a little bit of trepidation, a little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of regret. And she just nods and says, I hope you keep feeling better. And as she slips out, one of the acolytes kind of passes her in the hallway, moving past, allows her out, and says, Master Eckhard, Taxmaster, forgive me, sir. The Queen is asking for you. She wishes to speak to you in private.
He'd nod and cast his morning fastidiousness. His disheveled appearance kind of goes away. Still bags under his eyes and
beautiful.
Looking like he hasn't slept very much. Probably got an hour or two that night and makes his way out of the cell.
Mm-hmm. As you make your way out of the cell, you head off to where the Queen stays. The door is closed, but you can either knock or just enter in as you see fit.
He would knock.
Enter.
Eckhard. He'd make his way in.
As you make your way in.
Wanted to see me, ma'am? Or your Majesty, rather.
Ma'am? Hi, ma'am!
Yes.
That's fantastic. Just dropping it. We're all going to be gunslingers by the end of this, but multi-classing. With that, she looks up to you, and there is that same expression of kind of thoughtfulness that you saw the night before is still on her face. She seems, really for the first time since everything with Odify, she seems calm. She seems more collected than she has in the past. Please, have a seat, Eckhard.
He would sit in a lot less grace than he would like.
Clunk, clang, clook. You knock over a cup.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. You see the Queen is struggling to figure out what she wants to say in this moment. You are by far that is to say, you are by far among all of those that I consider trustworthy. You are the most truthful, Eckhard. When Mikhael opens his mouth, I always question what they say, but I know their intents are good.
I'm shooketh.
Mm-hmm.
When the High Priestess speaks to me, I know she, at her core, believes in what we are trying to do, what kingdom we're trying to save, but her true allegiance lies both with the church and, other organizations. She mumbles to herself about those organizations at least having some, belief in Solaria as well. I want to know...
You cannot blame the shepherd for looking after her flock.
And I don't. be very clear that I do not. But I find myself at a bit of an impasse. The mayor has suggested something to me. Less of a suggestion and more of a, this is the course of action he plans to take. He intends to send riders north to Brevoy and request that the town of Vonhold be annexed into their kingdom. I'm unsure as to how they will respond. The Sword Lords have been warring amongst themselves, and information from the north is spotty at best. But my initial reaction was to fight him on that, to claim that while I still live, while Vonhold still holds its independence, and Solaria is not dead. But I am wondering if it is a true belief that there is a chance to save what my husband and the council spent so many years building, or if I am merely a queen, a mother, a wife that is grieving and unable to accept reality. I am seeking your counsel. Were you me, what would you do?
Is the mayor an elected or appointed office?
He was appointed by my husband.
Well, as the acting monarch, he didn't have the ability to strip him of office. Whether he would do so on your order, that's a different question. But as monarch, you hold responsibility for the realm. He holds responsibility for the city. He's an administrator, not a ruler. He might believe it is best for the city to become part of Brevoy, but he does not make that decision.
She chuckles a bit. I know the laws.
Of course.
What I'm asking for is your opinion on what you would do.
Then let me rephrase. I believe it doesn't matter if there's a chance that you can win. I believe it would do a disservice to the nation if you did not fight.
And she nods her head, and this is the truth. This is what you believe to be right.
Even if you are merely a speed bump for Godfrey and the Apostles. That's an anachronistic phrase, I realize. Even if you are merely a barrier that will be broken for Godfrey and the Apostles, that barrier will diminish their strength somewhat, and maybe the next barrier will stop them, or the one after that.
She nods. And this more kind of regal, confident look crosses her face.
Some things are worth dying for.
Yes, they are. My husband, he knew that better than any, I think. You see that longingness on her face again, but also filled with a little bit of sadness. But it's not like a sadness of I miss them. It's a sadness of something deeper. You're not exactly sure what it is, but there's a little bit of a deeperness there.
Should I go summon the others? Give you a moment to compose yourself.
No, I have one other question that I wish to know your opinion on. Oh, that is to say, your counsel. And she chuckles at that. I am trying to set aside my emotions when it comes to the young girl. The mention of the young girl, that is the first time she hasn't called her a, wretched cunt. So, the young girl in the basement. I am still angry at what she represents, but also understand she is simply, for all intents and purposes, she is simply a child that happened to be born to a monster. But does that in itself make her a monster as well? Sorry, GM just swallowed his own spit. And she says, I ask again, were you me, what would you do with her?
After the book is handled, I'd release her. He poses no more danger once the book is gone. You will be surrendering some leverage, but I do believe it's best not to hold political prisoners. It goes down a path you may not have the stomach to follow up on, and the kind of rule that I don't believe Solaria was founded upon.
One final quick side note, because the GM is forgetting, where is the yellow gem? Who has the yellow gem right now? Remind me.
The shadow dude, doesn't he?
Yes, that is right. Okay,
No. It was
No.
it was on Dawkins, and we got it
So
back.
that's
So
what I thought.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
it was
right,
on
right.
Doc,
I
yeah, you
have
got
it.
back. You have it. Okay.
I have it.
Perfect. So it's all.
I don't know. I didn't know we were looking for it, so I just
Yeah.
pocketed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually perfect. So,
Yeah.
she's asked this question. You've mentioned to release her, etc. Perfect. There's so much. This is so fucking complicated. I mean, even I'm having a fucking problem keeping track of everything, which I love. It means it's going well, probably. But we're gonna cut back. So she's asked this question. You've given her answer. We're gonna cut back to all of Ven and Bix and Mikhael. I believe you're planning to go to the Mint to meet with the Queen, etc. Okay, perfect. So Ven, that gem, where do you have it pocketed?
It's just in my like I've got a thing of pouches,
Mhm.
and it's just in one of the low
let's
ones
say it's
near
in
my
like
hip.
the low pouch near your hip. You feel like a little like a moving, almost like there's like a little mouse or something in there that kind of like shakes, kind of like jitters a little bit.
Then, assuming that someone's pickpocketing, was immediately like, "Ha!"
Yeah.
No, there's no one.
You haha, and then you still feel that little jingling again as well.
Is something the
Oh.
matter?
Shit, I meant to mention. I found this on Dawkins yesterday.
And
My eyes go wide.
If you pull it up, if you remember last time we described it had that kind of black smokiness in the center.
Mhm.
Black smokiness is gone, and it looks like just a perfect topaz, but there's a slight reddish tint. It almost looks like hair. Kind of
It
spiraling
had-
a little bit.
It was on Dawkins, and it I think it was the source of the shadow that was controlling him. And I'm pretty sure the shadow faded back into it and said, "I will have what you have." Did we tell you about this, Mikhail, about the shadow possession?
I did not hear of this, no.
Oh.
I have been
Okay, so let me
looking
give you
for that.
Well, Dawkins had it. Let me give you a quick rundown. So we tracked Dawkins to this cave, and it turned out that he was being attacked by shadows, like possessed by them. And then they were trying to come into the world through a bunch of portals. And we didn't really realize that this was the source of it until I accidentally burned it off him. And then the shadows were saying that they wanted to experience mortality or something, or like being corporeal. I don't know. It was very confusing. And then I got shocked with shadow energy and almost choked to death. So I don't remember a lot.
That was very helpful. And you're saying Dawkins had that
Hanging on his neck by a pendant, but I lost the chain.
But it is
Also,
not doing anything bad to you. Did you hear any voices when you were holding it or anything?
No, but it jiggled just now. I thought someone was robbing me.
Yeah.
Where are you holding it right now, Ven? Are you holding it by
Like literally like this.
like this? Yeah. There's it jitters in your hand a little bit.
There it goes again.
And you feel this kind of tingling sensation, similar to the way I described it to Eckhard. Kind of tingling sensation. And you
Ooh, it's tingly.
you hear a woman's voice in your mind. But it sounds like she is horribly confused, and she begins to speak to you, but it's more of like she's speaking at you or around you, and she says, Reginald, but we have to get to the children, the children, we have to, Reginald, no, and she just starts screaming, and it starts to hurt in your mind as though someone's like screaming into your ear.
Ah.
She sounds very confused.
What?
Ven will drop the stone in the middle of the table and then be like, okay, you asked me about voices, and then I don't know what you did, but that triggered something. There's a lady yelling at somebody named Regib.
Reginald?
Yeah.
That
And
is,
her
yes.
kids. Now
Yes.
she's screaming. It's
Okay.
very loud.
Can you still hear her now that you've
Nope.
dropped it?
No.
I'm gonna carefully reach out and pick it up.
A little bit of a static shock, but you start to hear this woman again. Sounds like the woman's voice you heard the first time, but it's like she's having all these different conversations. You hear what sounds like she's screaming at Godfrey, like she's in the middle of like a fight. You then hear this like almost drunken kind of like musings and almost like flirtation between her and again, you can't hear the other side of the conversation, but it's like whoever this person is reliving all of these moments, but they're all jumbled and they just sound very confused, and then occasional just like fall into these bouts of just like calling out for her children, calling out for Reginald, and then it's all over the place, and it starts to hurt your head as well. I need you to give me a will save.
Listen, I'm reviewing those screams, and I think I may have heard her scream "God of the Hunt."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's fucking hilarious. Yeah, you're gonna take one wisdom drain as
Drain. Jesus Christ.
Drain. Yeah, not damage, wisdom drain, as it is racking your mind. It is like you're listening to someone losing their mind and it's hurting you.
Is it clear that
I want to be very
Mikhael
clear.
is suffering?
Yes, I want to be very clear that the moment you lose that wisdom is when you hear her scream, "God of the Hunt! God of the Hunt! God of the Hunt!"
Ugh.
Ven uses the mage hand that he
you don't want to know.
Ven
It's
uses
gross.
the mage hand that he conjured earlier to grab the stone from him and like just hold, like not take it away from him, but like hold it away from his hand so he's not hearing the voices. And he's like, okay, this doesn't appear to be going well.
I don't know if that would have done anything, but like while I was hearing the voices, Mikhael, kind of like a boomer with magic, would try to talk into it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would have done anything.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay. Hello?
Hello, Alexa?
Magister Muriel, can you... What is this?
and
then I presume.
Yeah, it just wouldn't respond.
Did you just try and talk to that Amber?
Topaz? It talked to me first. Mikhael looks at you like you're stupid.
Yeah, but it talked in your mind, so we couldn't hear it. So just like it did to me. So talking out loud is probably.
Well, she seemed to be a lot more clear-minded last time. It must be broken. Did something happen?
I mean, maybe the shadow energy is in there. Do you think there's somebody in this stone? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Oh yes, there is definitely someone in the stone. It is
the mention of someone in the stone. You see that red wisp of like fiery energy, almost like little like spins of hair. I don't know what's like little threads of hair. I don't know, whatever, but like spins around. But then you see what looks like a kind of that like greenish black kind of like overcome it, and it looks like the two are almost battling inside, like the
I think the shadow's in there too.
Okay, this is a state secret, so do not tell anyone. Yes, you won't tell anyone. Yeah, okay. This is the Magister Muriel. If in the gem from the council.
Didn't she and the rest of the council disappear on the other side of the kingdom? What is it doing here?
I do not know the answers to this question. Why do you? All right, this is what people are looking for some reason, including her familiar.
If this is what they're looking for, then why did Dawkins have it?
Maybe they used it for something. Well,
so you think the apostles are looking for this? They stole it from someone and gave it to Dawkins?
Well, I do not think it's the apostles after all, for one. Were you
Despite the fact that we fought
absolutely-
an apostle.
Were you absolutely certain that that man was an apostle?
I mean, I'd never seen him before, but he did cause my my tattoo to burn, and he somehow got inside my mind. I assumed through my tattoo.
I do not know how these things work, but is there any possibility it could have happened otherwise?
I mean, all right. Let's say that let's play this game through. So what you're saying is maybe the tattoo is just a entry point and anyone can use it. But then why would Odafi be as influenced? Presumably she's not got the same sort of haphazard tattooing that would have allowed just an entry point into her mind. Yeah, as the daughter of Godfrey, she'd have to have better protections than that, unless Godfrey is way worse at this than I think he is.
This is not making it a lot helpful, I have to admit. Either way.
Okay. Imagine that your mind or your spirit is like a locked box.
Mhm. Yes.
Now, if you were gonna make the best locked box ever, you'd probably carve it whole, so there was no way to open it, and then place whatever you needed inside. But how do you do that? How do you place something inside if you can't get inside the box? So in order to get inside the box, you have to create some sort of entry point.
Yes.
So in this instance, a lid. And then maybe you put a lock on the lid, but it doesn't matter if you've put a lock on the lid, because the minute you create a box and created a lid, you've reduced the security of the box. So no matter whether it's locked or not, there's still an access point. So what if the tattoos that we have that were supposed to just be an access point for Godfrey are actually just like the lid of a box. So it's locked, but there's a sliver of room that people can get in.
Certainly, this makes sense. Well, my point being that I do not think that man was an apostle. I do think he was looking for this and was trying to do something with it, which you stopped because Dawkins is safe. And he also wants the Book of Shadows, of course.
I mean,
As
that
we
makes sense,
found
because if he's working with the shadows, and what they want is to possess a bunch of people, or to
Could he
have
be a shadow
bodies.
a shadow possessing a person as well?
Yeah, didn't I told you that the shadows were possessing Duncan. That's why with the locket and then the breaking of the, did you listen to anything I said?
Yes, no, of course. He might also be a shadow possessing someone. Yes.
Who, Dawkins or the guy?
No, the guy. I'm saying that the man we saw might be possessed by a shadow, like Dawkins was.
Well, I mean, that would
Yes.
explain why he can sort of disappear into shadows in a way that I've never seen anyone do before.
Now, being a bit crazy here, could he be an apostle possessed by a shadow?
Well, he'd probably be a low-level apostle, because the higher up in the apostles you get, the more of your face you cover. And past a certain point, you wear a really dumb mask.
I mean, that would make it easier for the shadow to possess him, I suppose.
Well, except he wasn't wearing a full mask. We could see his eyes.
All right. If that helps at all. Regardless, I heard rumors of some sort of...
I think you're onto something. I don't think he's an apostle.
Yes. I heard some rumors of random people around town hearing some shadow creature type thing, talking into their heads and promising them power in exchange for something that might also be related.
And at this point, I know you said you were all leaving, and I imagine you're maybe having this conversation as you've been walking.
Yeah.
You all arrive at the Mint, and Bix, your hangover is so aggressive that, like, you can feel light, like it's, like, stabbing your eyes.
Bix, are you doing all right?
I'm riding Polly but it's more like I'm just laying on top of him, and only through Polly's care for me am I not falling off.
Polly is serpentining, and not intentionally, but
Yeah.
We should.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Did you follow along with anything we were talking about?
Were you talking? I don't.
Polly says,
I don't.
Hunt.
Ugh. Just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Thanks.
Perhaps you two should drink some coffee and water or something.
Probably. Where are we going?
The Mint.
Oh.
Polly stops at a trough and starts lapping water like it's going out of style.
Maybe not. Okay, well.
I also like shove my head in the.
Yeah, he like leans over enough to where you can put both your heads in there. It's right outside. Standing next to you is a certain black horse.
We're outside the Mint.
Yeah, who looks over. Morning.
You did not feel like waiting to go inside and drink from a glass? Well,
his head is under
Ven
the
is-
water, like he can't hear you.
The horse
Ben has
looks-
already dug out a couple of sugar cubes and he's offering them to the.
it's fine. They're talking to themselves.
Horse leans over. Thanks.
Yeah, buddy.
This is disconcerting, right? Am I the only one?
Big.
Hey, do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite? Like, is there a treat I can bring?
The horse kind of like tilts his head up, looks down at you. Apples.
All right, apples. I'll keep that in mind. I'll see if I can track some down.
Nods.
And then Ven gives him a pat across the snout and then goes inside as if the talking horse is nothing. Just like, yeah, all right, cool. Thanks, bud.
Looks down at the other two. You about done with that trough? And then that's
Bix like tosses his head up. Yeah, that's better. All right, Polly, come on, bud.
horse goes down
The
and
water
starts
is gone.
drinking. But you all enter inside, and you are welcomed back into the Queen's office. And she actually asks for everybody in this moment, because, except Polly. No animals allowed. No, just kidding. Polly can come too if he wants to. He is big, though.
There would not be. He's the size of a person.
But, we're actually going to take
that doesn't
this
make
meeting.
it better, I don't.
We're going to take this meeting. We're actually going to take this meeting not in her office, but in the meeting room, because it has a lot of space and allows for everyone to attend the meeting. Everyone, even Dokken. But that would give everyone a chance to attend this meeting. So as we gather everyone in, I want to finish up that scene between Eckhard and the Queen, because I want to know if there's anything else you wanted to add as she asked this question about, what would you do with her?
I don't think she's done anything wrong aside from the dint of her birth and react to what we've done.
I've had to ask myself if I would do the same thing were I in her position. If I found myself, as she puts it, trapped, would I not seek freedom at any cost?
Eckhard shrugs. I don't think it matters what you would have done or what I would have done. I think it's understandable what she has done.
She nods.
I think legally speaking, she's gotten onto her boat, but she wasn't detained for any law. She was detained by royal prerogative, so you can set her free with the same prerogative.
Thank you for your counsel, Taskmaster. And with that, an acolyte knocks on the door. She says, "Enter," and says, "The others have arrived. They're waiting for you in the meeting room." Nods, and then you're all gathered together. And the Queen is the first to speak. A couple moments of Elga. She leans over to Ven as he sits down. And as she leans over, you see she produces a small little pastry and offers it to him.
Hard candies.
It's to Ven.
Oh, Ven takes one.
Yeah. She leans over to Mikhael.
I will also take one.
It's like a little lemon pastry. It's actually pretty good. And she feels it. And then she offers it to the rest of the table. And there's a moment where it passes around. Even the queen takes one. There's just a little bit of silence as everyone's munching on their little pastries, and the banker looks super, super pleased with herself in this moment. You know, the queen wipes her mouth a little bit. That's very good. So, I've gathered my council members here, and they're allies, because I think we have much to discuss. First and foremost, the book that I'm to understand Master Eckhard here is carrying upon him persons.
Eckhard will produce the book, whole pouch, and kind of shuffle it out of the pouch onto the table.
As it clanks, the page, like the cover, kind of like lifts up for a second and then falls down. You notice that it looks like there are 2 pages missing. Like they've been almost burned away or torn out, is what you'd notice. But she says, first and foremost, we need to know what to do with this book. It seems that the apostles are looking for it and trying to acquire it. And if Odophi is to be believed, and I'm not saying that she is, it would appear her father is looking for this as well. Ven, you had something to say?
Yeah, I think Mikhail has decided that it's not actually apostles who are after the book.
Raised eyebrow.
We think it's like a shadow conspiracy, but not like a shadow conspiracy and like it's a conspiracy that's taking place in the shadows. We think like literal shadow monster conspiracy.
Do we think they want it due to their being on the material plane? Or do we think they want it in general, and sending it back to the shadow plane would be a massive mistake?
I think they want to be on the material plane. Because you remember how they kept muttering when they were possessing Dawkins about like wanting what we had and experiencing our bodies?
But certainly if we were to send it to the shadow plane, then they would get to it more easily.
Yeah, but I don't think magic works the same way. So that shadow magic probably works differently here than it would in the shadow plane. But again, I don't think sending it to the shadow plane is a good idea. I was telling Mikhail that I think we should send it to the space between planes so that no one can ever retrieve it.
We have someone capable of doing that?
The queen nods to Eckhard, having literally asked the same question she was going to.
Apologies.
None needed.
It's been a night.
I mean, I can't readily, like, I don't have that ability, but I bet we could find a scroll of like travel of disrupt the travel the planes. But if we disrupted the magic a little and hear me out, we could just stick a portable hole inside a bag of holding.
The banker, who is producing a second little pouch of candies, drops them onto the table and looks to Venfa. Absolutely not.
So yeah, then in which case we'd need a spell. But I mean, we could find it. I'm sure we could find somebody. I don't know. I'm pretty good with scrolls, but I can't naturally travel the planes yet. Maybe.
I would like to mention that there was a book in the local library that seemed to pertain to matters of the shadow plane and may have some mention of this book that we are researching. However, when I went to look for it, it was gone with no record of anyone taking it, which leads me to believe that it must be important, and perhaps it is the enemy that has acquired it.
And what can we do about this?
Well, seeing as how no one has been able to track this person on account of them possibly actually being a shadow, I do not know. It will take time to gather information and find some sort of clue about this book.
There is, of course, the possibility that someone just took the book out and either looked to steal it for their private collection, or there's a mishandling of paperwork and we might be able to track it down, but that is probably a remote possibility.
The queen looks at Ven, but doesn't motion to him, and then finally breaks like a 2-second silence. You don't have to keep raising your hand. Simply speak your mind. This is an open forum.
Well, yeah, see, but I actually want to request permission to cast Detect Magic, because if we're looking for a possessed guy, Duncan was possessed, and I'm wondering if there's like traces of magic on him that we can use to track the possessed guy. But I didn't want to like cast a spell in your presence without asking for permission first, because I don't really want to get hit in the head again.
Everyone looks to Mikhail. Whole room turns, right?
Mikhail looks offended.
Mikhail, we're going 2 for 2 here. You've now sapped 2 people, and I've now picked 2 people. Well, I guess the same person twice now in this mint.
You really know how to pick them.
Oh,
Now I sap him.
That's acceptable. All right.
That's absolutely fair. Yeah.
That's awesome. And Dawkin nods to the queen. And the queen says, I see nothing wrong with this.
Yeah, in which case, Fen does a quick Detect Magic and then focuses on Dawkin to see if there's any residual trace of his being possessed.
There is. And there's also a little bit of a glow, that kind of bluish black glow coming from outside in the main area. Entryway.
Hey everybody. So there's absolutely like a trace of the magic on Dawkin still, but there's also a trace of the magic like in the entryway. So if we want to like move this party outside, it's possible that one of the adepts, is that what they call them, Eckhard? Acolytes outside might be possessed by a shadow person. It's like a blue gold like show. So maybe
I'm gonna like start sniffing like around Dawkin and see if there's any weird smells.
Hey, you know that weird smell I've described to you?
Yeah.
Very, very, very faint. But if you get right next to him, you can smell it.
So Mikhail moves up to Dawkin and starts sniffing him.
I look over at Polly and nod, and Polly goes and sniffs him too.
Yeah, Polly's like,
Everyone's sniffing Dawkin. All right, cool.
everyone seems fine with this.
Yeah.
Dawkin looks uncomfortable.
Yeah, I turn over to Polly and nod. Then I turn over to Ven and nod.
Ven real quick casts Mage Armor, because I want to get into a fight, get my ass whooped.
I love counting how long it takes each spellcaster to remember. Like, how many levels does it take until someone remembers? Mage Armor, yeah, of course. It's my favorite moment when they realize it.
And there are 2 acolytes standing outside. The one that has the glow, it's a lot more powerful than the glow that was on Dawkin. And as everyone kind of shuffles out, you see the acolyte. And they look, it's a girl. She looks normal, and she's standing there, at guarding the entryway and at her position. And then as you get close, she kind of turns to see everyone staring at her.
No, wait. As soon as he steps out and identifies who it is, Ven will lean over to Eckhard and go, "Hey, can we ask that guard over there, the far one? We need to ask him some questions. Can we bring him into this room? Actually, you specifically should ask him some questions." And then he'll give Eckhard like a really broad wink, and then move over to stand by the other guard and be like, "That guy."
Eckhard will take him into the meeting room.
He's like, "Of course, Taskmaster. I'm at your disposal."
Hey, you may not know this, but we're pretty sure that there's a mole in the mint.
And the acolyte will turn and look at you and will say, "That's simply impossible. Everyone inside is devout to Abaddon."
See, I hear you. That's what I said. And in fact, I had an argument with the Foxman in there about that, because I was like, acolytes of Abadar are like the most devout there are. But he was saying that there's like a smell, and I was like, that's ridiculous. If there were like a smell, then everybody who was who had it would be scrubbing with soap all the time. And
at
like
the mention of scrubbing with soap, the expression on this acolyte's face that has been one of like just listening, disbelief, it changes and their eyes go shadowy blue-black and their voice changes. It's a little bit deeper. But they don't stand threateningly. They simply, you can tell that they're picking up that maybe the trap has been sprung, or you know their guise has been strung. I speak for those of the plane of shadow. There is a organization within the Shadow Council. We wish to parley.
Oh, well, I don't have that kind of authority. Foxman, you're up.
Sorry, I was so certain. I was so certain Wolf would be like, and that is where. But no, yeah, I'm just standing right there, and I'm watching this happen. I guess so. I will walk up.
Then just like slides over, so he's standing between that guy and the door.
Yeah, smart. I'm sure Ven
Stop
will
the last
block
one.
them.
Yeah, is that right? See, you're sure Ven will stop him.
The
Yeah,
eyes,
yeah.
that blue, shadowy, kind of blue-black, kind of ghostliness, that little like smokiness in their eyes where their pupils and the irises should be, standing at sort of this rigid attention. Do you speak for those that hold the book?
Yes, actually. And who might I be speaking to?
I have no name.
Typical. Very well. I would
Ooh,
like
can we
to-
give him a name?
Very well. What shall we call him then?
Let's call him Smokey.
All right, Smokey then.
This vessel is called Andrea. You may refer to me as such.
Oh, but
No,
that
that's
is
no,
not
that's
who
the
you
body's
are.
name. Yeah, Smokey, come on. Play along.
Is Artria a hostage in this moment?
The head kind of tilts to the side and then tilts back. And tilts to the side again. They remain for now.
Very well. I'm simply trying to clarify the situation. And
Are you able to speak to the release of the book back to its rightful owners?
of course, I will. I am able to relay the terms of the parlay that you are here to discuss.
Return the book, and the assault from the shadow plane upon the mortal realm shall end. Those are our terms.
What if the book accidentally got destroyed?
The book is
Oh,
not
that would be
destroyed.
truly unfortunate. It
No.
would be
I don't
unfortunate.
mean what if it were destroyed now, because we both know it's not. But let's say like by accident we were storing it in a portable hole, and then we put it in that portable hole inside.
Then the assault upon your realm would not end. And this kingdom, this town, this kingdom, and this very world would be consumed.
Why do you want this book?
And the shadowy eyes get a little bit darker. The room itself seems to grow a little bit dimmer, like the light is kind of fading away. Even those without corporeal form desire strength and power. And with that, my friends, that is where we'll end today's session.
Man, that was a fake
You thought-
cliffhanger.
Yeah, I was so funny. Like, I thought one was gonna end it. I was like, no, why don't you guys have a chance to talk to him? I had a cliffhanger coming up, but no, that
Yeah.
was good. Wow, that was another very, very dense session. Good job, everybody. Like, holy fuck, this is wild. I don't even know who you people are anymore. It's there's a lot going on. Eckhard's apparently going to become a shadow monster. That's a thing.
Hope not.
And apparently there's different branches and organizations within the Shadow Realm that are warring with each other or something. I don't know.
That was so funny when you were talking to a guard and he was like, "Wait, what's wrong?" And you're like, "My mind is being assaulted by otherworldly forces."
I'm like, that's literally what's happening. I'm sorry.
I know, and that was so great.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And my
Holy shit.
plan was to tell this possessed person that what he needed to do is scrub with a particular scent of soap, and that way we could just look for people that smelled like that. Like, let her leave, and then.
Oh no.
I was
Like,
wondering
now
where
we
you were
just-
going with
Yeah.
that.
That is hilarious. But no, I just want to say to you four fine gentlemen, I always look forward to Wednesdays. This is just thick, deep, dense RP, and I love it. And yeah, my head hurts because it's just so much going on right now, and you guys are just fucking awesome. So thank you, and to everyone that stopped in, I just want to say thank you so much, and also super excited. The channel we got up to 100 followers, so. Don't forget to hit that follow button if you haven't already, which most people that watch do. And other than that, though, thank you so much. Any final thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns from the players before we sign off tonight?
No, I had a great
Yeah.
time. Thank you.
It's really good.
Yeah, good game, guys.
All right, gents. Well, we would catch these fine gentlemen here next Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern for Session 10. We're going to be in double digits. That's always a big thing to me when you hit double digits. I make a big deal out of it. So super excited about that, and we'll figure out what Smokey wants to talk about next session. But in the meantime, be well, be safe. Thanks for watching, players. Thank you for playing, and happy gaming, everybody. We'll catch you next time. Cheers.